Hey kid, if there is one thing that Latin and Hispanic people are kind of famous for, it's speaking Spanish. I'm not what I was going to say, but yes, Farrah Fox. I love being right. Okay, so if there's another thing that Hispanic and Latin people are famous for, it's the tango. I was going to say the cha-cha-cha. Ooh, that's a good one too. And don't forget the romantic boleros. Oh yeah, so romantic. Okay, yes, also the music. Okay, so there is a third thing that Hispanic and Latin people are known for. It's our delicioso food. Okay, yes, also technically correct. But what I'm wanting to say here is that one thing that we are famous for is having super long names.
Wait a minute.
Green Bear.
We don't have any long names around here. What are you talking about?
Oh, don't we now?
Wait. My name's just Green Bear. There's only 2 words.
I know, but perhaps you should ask Collie her full name.
Collie, you have a long name? It's not just Collie. What's the full name? Storyteller, you gotta tell me.
It is Melon Cauliflower Croquet de los Rios.
Wow, that's such a beautiful and long name.
But wait, there's an even longer name among us.
No way! Two-tone! But I thought your whole name was two-tone! That's like literally 1 word. It's actually 2 words put together. But, what's the rest of the name?
Well, I hope you're sitting down for this one.
I totally am.
Okay, it is Two-Tone, Chief, Crooked Whisker, Broken Tail, Cloudy Eye, Meowsers, McBowsers, Keeler, Peoplepotamus.
Whoa! That name is like basically bigger than you are.
So, without any further ado, are we ready to go exploring the extra long world of Latin names? Here we go! My name is Cool, which is pretty short if you think about it. But this is just the beginning. Here we go! My name is Cool. Do-do-do-do. I've got a bunch of names. A bunch! 11! How did I get them all? Inquiring minds want to know. When I was born, I kept my eyes squeezed shut so tightly that my mom called me Mr. Magoo from a cartoon she loved. My papa said I was going to be bilingual like him, so he called me El Señor Magoo. Ah, yes, so we have Mr. Magoo and El Señor Magoo, which is basically the same name, but en español. When my tío Tito, Uncle Tito, visited me in the hospital, he said that El Señor Magoo was too long, so he shortened it to El Goo. El Goo, how about that? They couldn't put El Goo on my birth certificate, so they called me Antonio Bernardo Sacre. Antonio, like my papa, and my abuelo, and my bisabuelo, that's right, like his dad, like his grandfather, and his great-grandfather, and Bernardo, after my papa's best friend from Cuba who could never leave the island ever, and Sacre, my last name. 3 days of life, 6 names. Not a bad start. Let's review. 3 days old, 6 names. Mr. Magoo, El Señor Magoo, El Goo, Antonio Bernardo Sacre. But that is just the beginning. When we arrived home, my abuela grabbed me in her arms and called me Papito, a name Cuban grandmothers call their nietos. Oh, that is very true. And she would know. When my prima Barbara, my cousin Barbara, saw me, she hugged and squeezed me a bunch. She rubbed my head and said, Coquito, or little coconut head, because my head was small and round and brown like a cocoa. When I learned to walk, I walked fast. Really fast. So fast that I bumped into lots and lots of things. I always had little scratches and bruises on my body. One day, my tío Miguel, that's Uncle Michael, noticed my bumps and bruises and he said, Hola, futinquito, or old beat up, run down jalopy that has more dents than you could count. 1 year old, 9 names. Let's review. 1 year old, 9 names. 1, Mr. Magoo. 2, El Señor Magoo. 3, El Goo. 4, Antonio. 5, Bernardo. 6, Sacre, or Sacre if you want to roll your R. 7, Papito. 8, Coquito. 9, Futinquito. And they kind of rhyme. Soon, I was all grown up, 5 years old. He was a man. The night before my first day of kindergarten, I didn't want to go to school at all. My papa had an idea. Bring! We made a boat of cushions and pillows and went on a sailing adventure. Ahoy, mateys! Papa called himself El Comandante, and I chose to be El Capitan, commander and captain. We sailed all around the world, over the sea of words, past the islands of numbers, near the country of shapes, which I hear is lovely at this time of year. My papa told me I would visit those and even more wonderful places in kindergarten, and now I couldn't wait to go. There's adventure ahead, landlubbers. As we sailed the waves, a mosquito, oh no, landed on my papa's rear end.
There's a bug on his butt! There's a bug on his butt!
There's a bug on his butt. As captain, I had to act fast. I smacked it, smack, hard, and my papa whooped. I showed him the squash bug on my hand. He laughed and called me El Capitan de los Mosquitos, Captain of the Mosquitoes. 5 years old, 10 names. Let's review. 5 years old, 10 names. 1, Mr. Magoo. 2, El Señor Magoo. 3, El Goo. 4, Antonio. 5, Bernardo, or let's roll the R, Bernardo. 6, Sacre. 7, Papito. 8, Coquito. 9, Futinquito. 10, El Capitán de los Mosquitos. I hope you're getting all that. There's going to be a test after this, okay? Okay? Yeah, I'm going to expect you to jump in with me. The next morning, I walked to kindergarten all by myself. Hold on a second. All by myself. Never mind those people who might happen to be on another page, who happen to be walking in the same direction, who happen to be related to me. Strange coincidence. Mrs. Green smiled at me and pointed towards an open desk. I sat down. She called off names from a fancy book. She's taking attendance. Mary Smith, a girl said, here. Daryl Washington, here. Then she called Antonio Sacre. Everyone looked around the room. Antonio? I looked too. Antonio Sacre? We all kept searching. She looked at me. Honey, are you Antonio Sacre? I don't really think that's my name, I said. I'm pretty sure this is you. Aren't you Antonio Sacre? She squinted at me. Well, you must be Antonio because I found a name for everyone else. Well, I think my name is Mr. Magoo, El Señor Magoo, El Goo, Antonio Bernardo, Sacre Pepito, Coquito, Futinquito, El Capitán de los Mosquitos, I said. The class giggled. Don't be silly, dear. What is your name? My name is... All together now. Mr. Magoo, El Señor Magoo, El Goo, Antonio Bernardo, Sacre, Papito, Coquito, Futinquito, El Capitán de los Mosquitos. And the class giggled louder. Please don't cause a fuss on the first day of school. Your name is Antonio Sacre. Well, actually, I think my name is more than that. It's But before I could explain, one student in the back of the room said, hey, it's Goo Goo. And another one said, potato. Potato, what? Everyone laughed out loud. I kind of laughed too, but I didn't like the nicknames they called me so much. I know why. Because they're kind of laughing at him. They're not really making up names out of love like all the other 10 names. Is it 10? I'm losing track. The teacher looked at me sternly. Please walk to the office, talk to the principal, and come back here with a normal name. Well, that's not how I expected it to go. I walked into the office. A lady sat in a cozy chair, and she pointed to a chair across from her. I understand there's been a ruckus in Mrs. Green's room. I nodded. Look at those eyes full of tears, arms crossed. This is not the way that this kid was expecting the first day of school to go. What's your name? I took a deep breath because he's going to need a lot of air to say this, okay? So take your deep breath because I expect you to do this with me. I remembered who I was, and I said, my name is Mr. Magoo, el señor Magoo, el Goo, Antonio Bernardo Sacre, Papito, Coquito, Futinquito, el capitán de los mosquitos. That was pretty good. She looked right at me. Young man, can you please tell me the story of your names? Oh, hell, glad you asked. I told her about my whole bunch of names, all 10 of them. Look, he's telling her, the principal, about the dad gave him a name, and then the mom gave a name, and then the uncle gave him a name, and then abuela gave him a name. Like, there's a whole story, and it's a really good story. She smiled, and her eyes crinkled at the corners. Oh, that's a good sign. You, my friend, have a wonderful name, one that you should be proud of. Go back to the classroom and tell Mrs. Green that is your name. And add this one from me. We're adding a name? 11 names! She leaned over the desk and whispered it in my ear. I smiled. 11 names. Look at that. So the story of the names and the water and the palms from Cuba and the coconut because the coquito and the sailboat and the mosquito captain and all the names are adding up, and now there's 11 names and off he goes, and let's see how this is gonna go. I raced back to my kindergarten classroom. There's Mrs. Green, arms on her waist, and I bet she's wondering, she's gotten this all straightened out. Oh, we're gonna see. Did you clear up the problem about your name? Mrs. Green asked. Yes, I said. My name is... Ready? Mr. Magoo, el señor Magoo, el Goo, Antonio Bernardo Sacre, Papito, Coquito, Futinquito, el capitán de los mosquitos, and the principal says my name is... Cool. Mrs. Green smiled and said, cool. I think I'm going to really like school. Oh, I am feeling so inspired. Are you, Farrah Fox? Yes, I'm going to add to my name. From now on, I will be known as Farrah Fawcett Fox of the Forest Fiddle-Dee Fiddle-Faddle. Oh. That's kind of impressive. Thank you. Oh, I should say, gracias. And I, too, have decided that I deserve a name as long as my neck. Oh, have you, Olivia the Ostrich? Yes, from now on, I shall be known as Dame Olivia the Ostrich of the theatrical world and the great adaptations of plays turned into blockbusters. This is starting to sound more like a resume. And I shall be called this throughout the land. Oh, that's a really long name. Blop, 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 blop. And henceforth, fuchsia fish, I will be known as Social Butterfly, fuchsia fish of the 7 seas, and I reserve the right to add additional oceans, bays, coves, inlets, etc., etc., etc. Oh boy. You see, storyteller, you have started something. I have started something. But you know what? The most important thing that we've learned here today, Abuela Bear, what is it? That no matter what your name is, no matter how long it is, or how short it is, or how normal and average it is, or how unusual and unique it is, the most important thing is that you were given that name or all those names with what? With love. Boom.